It's time for another show, 'cause it's 4 o'clock and the sun is a shining. Internet, it's time for an internet show. Right here on the internet, 'cause it's Tuesday. What was that thing flying around? I don't know, because it's Tuesday. Oh, internet! What's up, internet? What up, internet? It's Tuesday here in the lovely Western Washington. I have to say that the weather has turned around. It is snazzy out. It's snazzy. This is exactly the weather that people are looking for from Western Washington during the summertime. 74 degrees, 75 degrees, right about 75 degrees. 75 degrees, sunny, light breeze in the wind, fresh air in the sky, and dogs are barking, and all of the good stuff that we're looking for in the world. I love it out there right now. Can't ask for anything more. Unfortunately, I've been here cooped up in the office all day getting work done, so not all that bad, but it's going to be a good little trip to be able to take the dogs out for a walk. Let's see here. Punky Pam, first one to the chat. Congratulations. Congratulations. And Pamela, we did get our lovely iris bulbs in the mail here, and I think we'll be doing something in regards to a little video with those, just to kind of show off the bulbs that you sent us. And at some point in time, we'll be planting them when it's time to plant them. I don't know if it might be too early to plant them. I'm not sure. Who knows? Let's see here. Candy Overhauls making it in the number 2 slot. Big Pedro coming in 3rd on a Tuesday with some surprise action. Surprises! I'm going that direction today because I have a, where is it? Right here? I have some kind of giant zit right here, you guys. Some kind of crazy zit or something. I'm not sure. Ingrown hair or some kind of crap going on. So I'll try to stay on the pretty side over here, which is not that attractive either. I don't know. I got that cold, and I got blemishes, man. I got blemishes, you guys. It's traumatic. But you know, that's what it's like. That's what it's like being an old guy. You just start looking funny. You start just looking like a disaster, right? Emerald Pets is here. Emerald Pets Natasha. Oh, okay. Oh, so Natasha from Emerald Pets. Roger Deadham's made it in here. Oh, the internet is scary. It's a scary place, you guys. Steven Skoglund made it in just a little bit late, but that's not a big deal. AMA Aquatics. Hold on a second. I'm wondering if AMA Aquatics... No, that's not who I'm thinking. Okay. No, I got a message from somebody earlier, and your guys' thing looks the same. Avatar. Wushu Jimmy Brown is here. What's up, my man? Corvus Mouth Noises. For some reason, I believe Joel to be a fan of the late comedian Mitch Hedberg. I have no evidence to back this belief up. Yes, I am a fan of Mitch Hedberg. What's one of the favorite Mitch Hedberg quotes? It's like, elevator out of service, temporarily stairs, sorry for the convenience. Yeah, I'm sad Mitch Hedberg, we didn't get more comedy from Mitch Hedberg because he died. Because he decided to put the drugs in himself, which is not good. Dank Tanks is here. Big E's is here. What's going on? I don't know. Did I... Hold on a second. Did I... Oh, yeah, I did that. Okay. We do have a title here. So that's good. We have a title. And today's video, I'm planting some Anubias Nana Petite. So if any of y'all are interested in any of that, that will be in the middle portion of the show here with the air quotes. As you guys know, I guarantee to come on here for an hour, 4 to 5 o'clock. So we'll be here for the hour. We'll do the stuff here for the hour, and then maybe we'll stay longer. Who knows? Sometimes people super chat and say stay on longer, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about some nonsense and see what happens. I'm open for any questions. Anybody out there has any questions for me, you can put them into the chat, which, as you can see, shows up into the video here. I know this format doesn't work for a lot of people, but hey, maybe we got about 50 fans here that like it, and hey, that's cool with me. That's cool with me. Come hang out. Come hang out, and we'll have a good time, and we'll keep doing what we're doing here, and I'm going to keep this train rolling as long as I can. Hopefully the banks don't foreclose on anything anything like that, which won't happen. I assure you that will not happen. We'll keep this going one way or another. Flynn's Fish Forum is here. What's up, dude? No more smoke in the Pacific Northwest. That is right. A cold or warm or high or low pressure system came moving in off the coast and whoosh, blew it all that way. So we don't have any smoke for a little bit. We'll see. Hopefully the forest fires don't continue to grow and things actually get put off. Or hopefully the fires get put out, not put off. We have a question from Isaac Alves here, and we'll run to that in a minute once we're done saying hello to everybody as we're warming up. So we're warming up the turbochargers and the carburetor here on the old computer. Hopefully we'll get everything warmed up here, and we'll talk about your clownfish here in a minute. Oh, Hitachi. Oh, Hitachi. I don't know what Hitachi means, but what's up, KG? How you doing? Let's see here. Oh, man, food talk. Now I need to find food. Who is talking about food? Was somebody talking about food? Rich man, food. Oh, hold on. There is food here. Dogs are forever in the push-up position. Rice is delicious if you're hungry and you want 10,000 of something. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Rice is delicious if you're hungry and want 10,000 of something. 10,000 of one thing. That's on the Mitch Hedberg tip. And yes, they are always in the push-up position. Only experiences here. It's been a while since you commented, but you're still watching. Hey, thanks for showing up, man. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody showing up, man. That it's a great time here. I think we have a decent amount of fun. I don't know. Hopefully, this show will continue to expand. Hopefully, we'll be able to get someone else. Because the the camera is backwards. So hopefully we'll get somebody else over there at some point in time. We do have some things happening this week, which I think some of you all might be excited for, and I'm not going to say anything about it until tomorrow. So you better show up to tomorrow's stream because there's some stuff happening, and you should want to check that out because it could be some good news, could be some bad news, could be no news. Right? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to it. A couple people in the chat here know what's going on, and but we'll like I said, tune in tomorrow and we'll talk about that. Let's see. Sashimi Whiskey's got a bunch of stuff going on. Oh, I wanted to mention. Thank you to Sashimi Whiskey for setting up a little Facebook group for pictures and stuff like that. That has been fun over the last couple of days, and I'm kind of excited to see where that little project goes. I don't know if it's an open group or a closed group or what, so maybe I shouldn't have talked about it, but either way, it seemed, at least publicly from the outside, you could look at it, maybe? I don't know. But that was something that has come up, that he's in there. He's there in the chat, so I'll give him a shout to his little his little Facebook group. No, his burgeoning Facebook group. It's burgeoning. It's emerging from the soil, from the earth, coming up into the sky, and will create monstrous Facebook group. I don't know. Maybe it'll stay small. I don't know, but it's been a bunch of fun. It's open and free. No nudes, please. Oh, well, the nudes will get eliminated by the Facebook automated bot. Will destroy them, which, you know, is helpful if that's not something that you want to see. I don't think Facebook and YouTube are the places that you want to go see that stuff. On the art news here, we got some art going on. Of course, I'm working on a commission project that you guys, I'm sure, will be excited to see the monstrous time lapse that will come out from that. I'm excited to be done with that and make the time lapse and have that whole thing put up for you guys. It's going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty lengthy, so I think it'll be a little bit of fun. I'm also working on a new video series called "Have You Thought About That?" And so I'd pay attention to that coming out. They'll probably be about 20 seconds long. So they'll be the polar opposite of this show. And maybe 30 seconds, maybe 40-second long videos I'm working on right now, which I'm conveniently making myself laugh at making them. So hopefully that's enough. At least if it makes me laugh, then hopefully that's good enough, right? It probably doesn't really have too much to do about fish, but I don't know. Maybe y'all will think they're kind of funny or something, or maybe you think they're terrible and you'll tell me that I'm an idiot and stop doing it. Maybe that'll come up. Who knows? But either way, it's another thing that I'm working on right now. It involves cowboy hats and generally goofy nonsense, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So, and art projects coming up. Let's see. Well, his name escapes me. Hold on. What's his name? It escapes me right this minute. Nick. Nick. That's easy. That's it's a difficult name to remember. Nick, right? So Nick is speaking of fish paintings and fish nudes, as it were, fine art of nudical fish. I'll actually be working on a rainbow fish here fairly soon. So if anybody's looking for something along those lines, we'll be doing some rainbow fish here fairly soon. As we've talked about before on the live stream, if people are looking for art commissions or paintings or anything like that from me, go to darkstararts.com. And I just put it in the chat there. Go to darkstararts.com and you can email me. That is the best way to do it. We can talk about what your project is, what it wants to go. I recently had a conversation with a fellow artist that was having problems with trying to figure out how to commission work or that kind of stuff. And I said, hey, look, this realistically is a little bit of a barrier. Like, people got to email you instead of just like, hey, I just want to bullshit with you and talk about something, and then you just make it, and then I'll decide I don't have any money later. But realistically, the way that it works is you contact me, you want to go, what's going on, we talk about what's up, what's going to cost, and then we move forward from there. So it is a little bit of a barrier. I understand that. I'm not a factory, so I don't just have a giant warehouse full of a bunch of prints, or anything like that. So, because people have asked me before, they're like, hey man, when I go to Target, I can just buy a painting there. It's like, well, first of all, it's not a painting, it's a print. Second of all, it's not the original. It's not a one of a kind. It is a print that came off of a print press. So that's kind of one of those things that confuses people on the difference between art and prints. So I was basically handing out a little bit of advice to a friend of mine that was going, because she had done a bunch of work for somebody and then was trying to figure out, like, well, now they don't want to pay for it. And it's like, okay, well, then don't give them any of the work. Pretty simple as that. And it turns out that they just had a in-person conversation. It didn't really have anything to follow up on as far as, like, rates or what it was going to cost or what this was, that, and that, and the other thing. So that's the reason that I say, hey, get a hold of me on Darkstar. We can have an email back and forth. We can figure out what works for both of us, what you're looking for, if it's even something I can do. Because a lot, if you wanted me to do a 20-foot painting for you and you live in, let's see, Gillett lives in New Zealand. So let's say New Zealand, right? I probably wouldn't be able to ship that very readily over there. It might even be cheaper. It might even be cheaper just to buy me a plane ticket and fly me out there and actually paint it in your backyard or something. So some of those things that we basically need to talk about in regards to that kind of stuff. But like I said, I got some rainbow fish coming up that are going to be painting going on in here, which will be kind of fun. And look forward to that. Hey, FU2 just showed up. What's up, my man? Okay, what about dart frogs? Dank tanks, what about dart frogs? I need dank tanks. You didn't like finish your sentence there. I'm not really sure what you mean. I could paint dart frogs. Yes. Let's see. Fish nudes. Oh yeah, fish nudes. Does V8 count as food? That's all I found in the break room fridge. Nisi, yes. V8 does count as food. That was what I used to, that's what I used to have, 2 V8s for lunch. That's what it used to be my lunch when I worked, when I used to work 16 hours a day. I would have 2 V8s as my lunch break when I would drive to my other job. So that does work. That does work. But Dank Tanks, if you were asking about me painting, yes, I can paint frogs for sure. I can paint whatever. Doing the shirts again. Yeah, today I believe is the last day for the shirts. Victoria was cool enough to put together some shirts for us. It's sort of a test thing with Teespring. I know a lot of people have mixed, what do you call it? Mixed reviews of having dealt with them. But some people good, some people bad. I'm not 100% sure. So, but she was lovely enough to put together some shirts for fans or whatever. I mean, if you guys want shirts, I know a lot of people were saying, hey man, when can I get a t-shirt that says something goofy on it? The back of it says surprises hella big. And the front's got a shrimp painting on it. I think it's pretty funny, and we'll probably end up making some more basic shirts maybe at some point in time. Maybe we'll end up finding a better company to make them, because like I said, we got mixed reviews with the Teespring guys, so I'm not 100% sure of what's going on there. Oh, Feel My Swag is here. What's up, Feel My Swag? Where you been? Oh, I've missed you. I'm glad you're back. Oh, Rob Hicks. So do gummy bears equal food? Yes, gummy bears are certainly food. I'm a huge fan of gummy bears. I like the what are they? Harbo bears. Those are the ones I really like. The Harbo bears. Those ones because they have all the flavors that I like. What are the Harbo flavors? There's strawberry, pineapple. Let me see here. What are the Harbo Bears flavors? Oh, here we go. Hold on. Let's look this up real quick. Harbo Gold Bears. Okay, where's the little flavor thing? Oh, man. What the? Where's the back of the bag? It's on the... Oh, every picture here is the front of the bag. I know that the green ones are strawberry. Hold on a second. See if I can't find this. Oh, there it is. There's the back of the bag. Orange, pineapple, raspberry, and strawberry. Yeah, because I think there's 4 that come in the regular. Yeah. And that, to me, is a great mix as far as gummy bears go. And then there's one other one. Let's see. Raspberry, orange, lemon, pineapple, strawberry is the German ones. Okay. The American ones are strawberry, pineapple, lemon, orange, and raspberry. I don't even know if that's different. How's that different? That sounds like the same. Oh, somebody else, some other in the country ones, some other countries that they distribute to, they have apple instead and lime. Okay, yeah. Well, gummy bears, we're learning something new every day. Maybe I got to try and get Harbo bears every time I go out of country, for sure. That's my favorite little snack. My favorite little snack thing is the Harbo gummy bears. I love those. They're fantastic. They're probably good for you, too. Probably. They probably give you a ton of power. Have you ever read reviews on Amazon for the sugarless gummy bears? Yes. That is a thread that you will end up reading for probably an hour. It is intense. It is an intense thread for the sugarless gummy bears, and honestly, it is hilarious. Yeah, Haribo. I don't really know how to say that. Oh, and Joel Gillett decided to show up. Mr. Glass Boxes himself showing up late. Hey, man, you're tardy. You can't be tardy to the show. How are we going to make sure that the cover sheets are on the TPS reports, my man? Feel My Swag's been work. Busy season is starting up. I just got married. Oh, man. Married! Congratulations on the marriage. Or is it Happy wedding. Isn't that how it goes? Happy wedding, right? Happy wedding, it's your wedding, nuptials for you and one other person. Yeah. Happy wedding. I'm glad to hear that. And just been super busy now, going for another job tomorrow. So busy stuff. All right, feel my swag, man. Swagger. Well, I'm glad you're here. You made it for this one, and congratulations on the wedding. And well, hopefully things maybe just keep going good, because busy's normally good, right? I think busy's normally good. Gillett's got a TPS report due today, which means he's probably going to be lollygagging around the office, just moping about, being upset because he has a thing due. Sorry, I'm bashing around over here. I got this cable that was in the way there. Had to unplug, and probably went hot on the mic. Derek Runyon is here. What's up, Derek? How you doing? We just got done talking about gummy bears and whatnot, which is very important. It's very important to everybody out there to remember that gummy bears are delicious. And let's talk about clownfish disease. Brooklynella. I've never known how to say this. Brooklynella. That's probably how you say it. Brooklynella, like Brooklynella. Hostitis. That part I actually do know how to say. Is most closely and commonly associated with a subfamily of clownfish members of the damselfish family. So Brooklynella is the ick. Is essentially the saltwater ick, and it's something that I read fairly often, and very rarely do I ever talk about it out loud. So this is one of the issues that that comes up with saltwater fish that generally goes turns a reef tank into just total chaos. I know that there are a lot of people out there that don't quarantine their fish in freshwater tanks. I see it pretty often in freshwater tanks. I know there's a lot of people out there doing freshwater that are like, well, I don't quarantine because they look good at the store. I brought them home, put them in. Almost every salt keeper that I know will generally quarantine their fish. Namely, I think one of the big things is just a precaution based on the fact of how much all your corals and stuff, if you have a reef, just based on how much they cost, that you really need to sort of be precautious. Realistically, is how most I think the saltwater people look at it, is like the thing that theirs might be worth like $5,000 worth of coral and stuff like that, and a lot of freshwater people just kind of had cheaper setups. So not to really like get into that argument and call anybody out for like, oh, your setup's cheap or whatever, but almost all the saltwater people I know will quarantine with just about anything. If they are already in your tank, the only real thing that you can do at this point is to start a treatment dip, which is going to be your freshwater dip. If you've ever done a freshwater dip before, this is what's going to end up happening, of what you're going to have to do. And then you're going to have to probably treat the whole tank with malachite green or something along that line. And to talk about the freshwater dip, it actually is... it's less traumatic than you think. You basically just need to set up a small bucket with roadie water. So just make sure you have filtered roadie fresh water, and then bring them over and dip them. Well, basically net them out. Anybody that has the ick in there, or is showing any signs of ick within the reef, and then drop them into the bucket. 3 to 4 or 5 minutes, right around that amount of time, and that will give enough time for them to kind of kick off some of the pests that are on them, and then you can put them back into the salt tank from there, and then you need to start treating the tank, because Basically, any of the free-floating ick will find a place to land. Now, this is only for salt tanks. The treatment is different in a freshwater application, but this is what you would have to do for your clownfish, essentially, if that one is showing. And realistically, if that clownfish is in the tank with other fish, I would do a freshwater dip on all of your fish if you can. But when I say if you can, I mean make it happen. Just because if any of them have any of that parasite attached to them, the fresh water will actually drop them off, and then you're going to have to do freshwater dips pretty regularly with them. I wouldn't say that it's even daily, probably every other day. But if they're not in your main aquarium and they are in a quarantine, then you can actually just treat with malachite green. Will probably be the best one that I would say to use. I wouldn't go the copper route. I definitely wouldn't go the copper route myself, mainly because if there is any weird copper happen to be transferred over to the tank, Dank Tanks is saying that it sounds complicated, so let me paraphrase here a little bit quicker. So with your clownfish or any of the other fish, you're going to take them, net them out of the tank, and put them in a bucket of clean, fresh water, right? You're going to leave them in there for 3 to 5 minutes, remove them, and put them back into the saltwater tank. So that part is super simple. Then the malachite green, you're actually just going to treat the tank per the instructions on the bottle. I'm not going to tell you how to do it off the top of my head because I might be wrong, but there are basic instructions on the bottle on how to do it, so it's really not super hard to get on, to just kind of follow the instructions, go through that. Malachite blue is the freshwater one, malachite green is the saltwater one. Off the top of my head, I believe that's what they are. I think that's what it is. The blue is the freshwater one, and the green is the saltwater one. That'll help clear it up in the tank. And then, like I said, any of that ick-like parasite that is very common in freshwater but like I said, the treatment for freshwater is a little bit different. But ick is very heavily covered out there. I know that for saltwater tanks, it's kind of rare to get it, but just remember to quarantine anything that you're adding into an established tank like that. Joel Gillett's highly caffeinated, rate high on the conscientious scale, so I'm buzzing. He's high on caffeine. Let's see. Carson Anderson's on vacation. Oh, cool, man. Glad I sent out the 1 hour before post, before 4 o'clock start time. Actually sent that out this morning. Okay, I actually sent out the notification this morning. So I don't know, I haven't really got any necessary feedback on whether or not people like the community thing. I'm not getting any notifications from the community button on YouTube. I'm not sure if anybody likes it yet or not. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going to keep posting up on there in regards to what's going on. Carson's on vacation all week. Been nice to catch you live instead of a rerun. Feel like I missed out on all the fun. Well, that is going to be an ongoing kind of problem with the way that this show is going, but hopefully we'll have some different format stuff coming out fairly soon for you all. JH is okay. Priscilla found him on a safe list. Oh, okay. Has anyone heard? Oh, okay. Hoping his island did okay with the hit from Irma. Oh, yeah. There's been a lot of news in regards to that hurricane for sure. Hopefully everybody's all right out there. I noticed that there haven't been a ton of... I noticed that there hasn't been a ton of deaths, honestly. There was only a few, and so I'm glad to hear that. That definitely is some good news. A lot of buildings are knocked down and stuff like that, but it's pretty easy to rebuild buildings. It's not easy to replace people when they die, although we all are slowly dying here, so let's keep that in mind. So let's keep that in mind, because we all are dying, so let's at least be prepared for that at some point in time. Put your will together if there's a hurricane headed for you. I don't know. I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but that's the advice I'm giving out today. No more surprises up in here, but I'm glad he's okay. Hoping his house isn't damaged too much. Yeah. Have you done it? Let's see. Candy Overhauls is asking, have you done any experimenting with ground or whole ginger in salt water for ick? No, I have not. I actually haven't done anything like that. I have not. I've never tried that out. I'm gonna go ahead and copy your comment here and throw it into the little note page here, so I can look into that though. There we go. All candy's onto the note page. There we go. We're saving the notes. We'll try to get back to you. I'll see if I'll text and connect with some of the experts that I run around with and see if they got if there's any real information out there in regards to that or not. I did post the link for Darkstar Arts earlier. If you guys happen to go there, check out the Amazon banner and at the top of the page, and before you go to buy stuff at Amazon, you can just go buy stuff on Amazon. Doesn't matter whatever it is. It doesn't change the price. It just helps support the channel here because it tracks that we're driving traffic there. And somebody here, I got to give a big thank you to somebody out there who's been ordering all of their groceries on there. Well, at least all their dry goods and stuff, which is badass. That makes us look really good if people go on there and buy a whole bunch of $2.99, $3.99, a whole bunch of stuff like that. So kudos to whoever is doing that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The other appreciation here before we get to the video portion is the Patreon right here in the description, www.patreon.com/Joel_C. That is our Patreon here. That is where the funding from this show comes from. That's you guys, the subscribers, what I like to call the Patreonizers, which a lot of people were asking, what do the Patreonizers get if there's like a reward or anything like that? The rewards are kind of basic. I'm going to keep making the show if we can fund it, if we can fund to do it. I'm going to keep making it. We have a bunch of people that contribute. I'm sending out a bunch of these paintings to the top contributors over the summer period, and just as a reward for those guys like just kicking ass and being cool and contributing to the thing, I'm just going to be sending those out. I've also got some other ones I'm sending out to just the regular subscribers who are very active and always show up and stuff like that also. So it's not just for people that kick in money, those rewards, but the show is the show, and we're going to try to expand the show. So we have some of that stuff going on. A lot of you guys know that I hate advertising, that bulk advertising that YouTube just constantly throws at people. So I've eliminated most of it, and we're pretty close to eliminating all advertising off of the pages and all that kind of stuff. At some point in time, if we get realistically, if we can get funded enough, we might be able to be independently broadcasting this kind of stuff and then just re-uploading it to YouTube at some point in time, more as a focused show. But in the meantime, right now, we're focusing on getting rid of the nonsense advertising that just gets thrown in over top of the stuff. And so far, we're doing fantastically. We have a bunch of people over there on Patreon kicking in, and it's awesome. So, but we're about $300 short from for this month. So hopefully we hit our goal. We'll see how we do. You guys can chip in $1, $10,000, $100 million, whatever you guys want. And we'll be doing that. We'll be doing that for sure. 54 Punchy has to run to work. We will see you later. Got your new French press and some fishy stuff from Amazon today. Awesome. I love Amazon. I love not having to go anywhere. I love not having to go anywhere and get stupid stuff that I already know that I need. You know, like it's great that the mail people just bring it to my door, and I'm like, oh, what up? Surprises! And I'm like, oh, hey, you're a fancy mailman. I like your style. Well, Nisi's gonna throw her phone in the garbage for whatever reason. Sounds like her screen's frozen and all that stuff. But yes. Gone Mad is saying you need a plan. Let's see. He needs help planning a special saltwater tank. All right. Well, Eric, feel free to email or text me, and we'll talk about that. That Eric has gone mad there. Let's see. Candy Overhauls with the follow-up saying it's controversial with the elitists, but I've had it work. So I've used garlic for a lot of things, including treating myself. So I know that garlic has a lot of attributes to it that I think get ignored by most people. But I've used garlic for a ton of stuff, so I don't doubt that it has something going on. Awesome with it. Ginger also has some great stuff going on. I probably should definitely get in the habit of making a ginger and garlic smoothie in the morning like I used to. Now I'm just pretty much having the coffee, and maybe that's why I have this big ass zit right here. Maybe that's got something to do with it, right? Oh man, we've hit the 30-minute mark. We gotta get over to the video here. We're just trying to skip the video today or something? I don't know. All right. So our Anubias Anana Petite is actually going into Victoria's aquarium here, which, as you guys, there's a lot of people following know that this is a 75-gallon freshwater tank with some crebensis, some bristlenose plecos, and some vampire shrimp that never come out. They constantly hide. And I managed to snap a picture of them the other day. What's going on here? Is this the wrong video? I may have got the wrong video here. Hold on a second. Yep. That's the wrong video. Well, technical error. Whoops. I think I deleted the wrong one. Hold on just a second here, guys. We're gonna get the actual video. Where is it? What's the file number? Oh, 9732. There it is. Open. Aha. All right, let's make it big. Let's make it big and fit. There we go. All right. Okay, so this is the actual video I was trying to show. Right back. There we go. We're back in line here. So this is Victoria 75. We actually went to a little swap this weekend where we got some plants from some local stuff here. These little Anubias Nana Petite bags she had listed for $10. We ended up buying each one for $5. And there's an average of 3 little rhizomes in each one. And as I get through the bags here, I'll get some close-ups here at the end. I like Anubias a lot. I'm a huge fan of Anubias, all types of Anubias realistically, except for the Friseri at this point. I'm not a huge fan of the Friseri, just from the years of having issues with it doing all sorts of stupid stuff. So there is one excluded from the list, but I can't remember exactly how many types of Anubias there are out there. Let's check the wiki real quick. Wikipedia. Let's run through the 600 types. Yeah, approximately 600 listed types. Probably a lot more than that. But I am a huge fan of Anubias, of all the varieties from Barteri to, I really, Cafolia, all that stuff. I'm a very big fan. Love these little guys. Love how they grow. The one thing that I don't like is that they grow so slowly. I wish that they would grow a little bit faster. But the really nice, deep, dark, waxy leaves really give me an impression that we are somewhere tropical. We are somewhere wild. We're maybe where we're not supposed to be, right? We're in a little place where we might not supposed to be. We have gone off on the beaten track and stuff like that. So the one downside is that they don't grow as quickly as I would hope. I would hope that they generally would grow a little bit faster, but the one downside is that they do grow pretty slowly. Now, one of the big upsides is they can exist in a pretty wide variety of water parameters, and you also don't need a ton of light. As a matter of fact, you probably need to dial back your light a little bit if you have really intense light. For this plant, they do like to be a little bit shady. They generally grow lower down near the ground underneath, and not having direct light on them. So they do like a little bit of diffused light, or just a little bit lower amount of light. One of the downsides, if you have too much light going in, you're going to end up with a little bit of algae growing on the leaves and stuff like that. So you may have to adjust and make some adjustments and stuff like that. But if you're talking about the surrounding areas, so the left side, the right side, and kind of the back where maybe you don't have a lot of direct light, it's a great plant to use around the sides of the tank or around the back. As you can see here, Vicky is wanting the Anubias to be kind of the focal point and essentially making a tree into this aquarium. And so I'm just helping her out, getting them into the tank. I'm not gluing them in, I'm not tying them in, I'm not doing any of that stuff with it. I'm actually just placing them into little nooks and crannies today, so that she can move them if she likes. If she does leave them there for a couple of weeks, the roots will attach to whatever you kind of pop them in here. So this can become a permanent way to do it. You don't need to glue them. I do have some tutorials out. If you look through the old videos, I have some tutorials out of how to glue these to stuff and how to tie them to stuff and all that kind of nonsense. But in this situation, I'm actually just putting them in the tank for my lovely future bride, and just putting them in there so that she'll be able to move them around or do whatever. But I didn't want to keep them in the bags much longer, so I was just handling this for her while she's out filing her TPS reports. And coming through just to do a little help for my lady and just put them in there. In the past, this is the most desirable way that I've had to plant Anubias, is to use these little nooks and crannies on driftwood and stuff like that, because, like I said, the roots will eventually attach to whatever you kind of wedge this in. If you wedge these little busters in, they'll the roots will attach to whatever, and then they'll just grow wherever you have them there, and that will really realistically, long term, this is my favorite way to plant, just to let them grab on to whatever they're at, and not necessarily gluing or any of that kind of stuff. But gluing is necessary sometimes, because as you can see, like the end of that little piece of driftwood, there's an Anubias there right by my hand there, as my hand goes by. That is actually glued on because it's the end of the branch, where she likes to have them grow at the end of the branch. So some people out there a lot of people out there understand what I'm talking about. When these are grown at the nurseries where they're grown from, they grow the leaves above water, because they won't grow any algae on them. Like I said earlier, it's one of the downsides of having too much direct light on them underwater, is that their leaves will grow some algae on them. So there is sometimes a fairly significant transition period if you've gotten these from a nursery or something like that, and not a local person that grew them underwater. These have been grown underwater, so I don't expect a huge transition period or any leaf die-off or anything of that nature. So I think it'll be pretty seamless transition for these plants to be able to just be growing in this tank and fill in nicely. Of course, we have no questions, guys. I've been just running my mouth here, and nobody's even asking any questions. But let's see here. A couple of them I had to fumble with. A little piece of advice that I could give people is to, if you're gonna like poke it into a hole like I'm doing right here, you can actually just poke it in there, and if you can grab the you can actually grab the little bit of root from the other side and kind of pull it in to kind of pull it into place, if that makes sense. Oh, Sergeant Tank is here. What's up, Sergeant? What's up, Jeremy? How you doing? Nisi is asking, what is my favorite type of Anubias? I have to say I'm a bit vanilla on this one, because this Anubias Nana Petite is, all of the Anubias Nanas is essentially my favorite. I love the leaf shape on them. And considering they're a little bit brighter green than some of the other varieties, the nanas are a bit brighter instead of the darker green. So my favorite has to be the nana. It's the one that I've had so much of. A lot of old followers from back in the day will remember that I had tons and tons of, you know, nano tanks and big tanks and stuff filled with Nana Petite all over the place, which I've slowly kind of sold off and lost, or this and that and the other thing, and kind of worked away from it because I've been working on different scapes and all that kind of stuff. But, so I would say that the Nana is probably my favorite, like, personally. But there are, like I said, there are so many types out there. Slowly but surely, there are a lot of new ones coming in. The F-Zelly is pretty cool. There's a bunch of different types of Barteri now. The Coffolia is super cool. Although the Coffolia, if you're looking for a big one, a really big Anubias, Coffolia is going to be the one that you want. That'll eventually grow in quite well in the background. Or Gigantea, I believe, is gigantic in some language. Excuse me. And that one will grow super big too if you're looking for a good background one. But I like to do a mixture of the Nanas. I just generally have a lot more success with the Nanas. And like I said, I like the shape of the leaf for sure. Anubias gracilis is one that I also have a lot of fun messing around with. That is a pretty fun one for sure. I'm trying to think of a couple other ones. Heterophylla is one that is out there that has kind of more of a oval shaped leaf, kind of looks more like a house plant. Gigantea, I think I already said. F-Zellies, what is it? F-Zelly, F-Zeri, F-Zelly, something like that. That's the one with the really long, goofy looking Anubias. Those are pretty good. There's so many varieties, but I would say that the Nana one's kind of my favorite just because of the shape of the leaf, realistically. And I think we already had this other video here, but this is the once I've added in all this Anubias. So she's got some of the standard size Anubias and a lot of the petite, the smaller here to kind of create this tree scape here. This is going to be a long-term growing type of tank, you know. Realistically, when you get down to it, this is going to be a long-term setup. But these tree pieces she can take out and move to. We're trying to find her a 120. We're trying to find her a 120 here to upgrade from the 75. And at some point in time, we'll be able to just pull these out as whole units and then add them into the new tank when she's whenever the new tank comes along. So that's going to definitely be one of the good deals with that. Ooh, HC Aqua with the Anubias Pinto. The Anubias Pinto is fairly rare. I've got one of it, and I'm trying to grow it, and it's just a little douche, not doing much. It's the white Pinto. I have one, and it's hiding in the 240, and hopefully it starts growing well. I noticed that it's finally sprouted and transitioned into my tank. So hopefully that'll be taking off at some point in time. Right now I've got it kind of just hiding in the back so that there's not. So basically just keeping it safe, just keeping that little buddy safe, and hopefully with that, hopefully at some point in time it'll start to spread, but it'll take a while. Emerald Pets Natasha's asking, this may sound like a dumb question, will they still grow if they are free floating? Yeah, if they are free floating, they will do fantastic. They'll be fine. The only downside to that is aesthetic. So as you're looking into the tank, you're going to be like, what's all this crap floating around in here, guy? Because they won't float. They won't float just on the top, or they float around like dipshits, really. It's just like either float on the top or sink to the bottom. But Anubias is sort of negative or just neutral buoyant, I guess. So it'll just be like tumbling around all over the place all the time. So that's the downside with floating, realistically, with floating these little guys. But they will grow great, just floating around. And typically they won't grow as much what's the word I'm looking for here? Algae. on them if they are kind of floating around like that. But it's a very ill-maintained look, and it's just kind of difficult to maintain realistically if you get down to it. And if I was realistically trying to avoid the algae and have them growing quickly with no algae, I would actually grow them immersed instead of submerged, like down in my sump, and just have them grow pretty quickly that way. Let's see here. Let's answer some questions. Let's see here. Oh, all right. So I think I caught up with that. Okay. And any thoughts on Anubias in brackish tanks? Oh, that's a good question. Ooh, oh, crap. What happened here? Isaac Alves was asking that. Yes, I have done Anubias in brackish tanks. Actually, I have some really old, like 6, maybe 7-year-old videos where I was doing an aragonite tank. I think after the aragonite tank, I started getting really into brackish tanks and working on halophytic plants. Halophytic plants are plants that will grow typically in a salt-heavy environment, which doesn't mean the ocean, right? And it doesn't mean fresh water. It's essentially brackish area plants is what halophytic plants stand for. It's basically plants that can tolerate higher and lower amounts of salt content, so they don't have to just have fresh water. They can deal with a varying degree of salts and stuff like that. If you go to the beach and you see those weird strawy kind of grasses that are down there, growing down there, that would be a perfect example of a halophytic plant. Like they just don't care. They're like, yeah, man, it's salty. I'm growing. What? So I did a lot of work with that. Anubias seems to be one of them that actually is a great plant also for cichlid tanks, harder water, higher pH tanks. They can handle it. I mean, I wouldn't go to any crazy extreme like that. But if you do have them in a brackish tank, the one thing that we did notice is that as long as the tannins are up in the tank, the Anubias will do fairly well. Not... I think the tannins are like just enough to help it kind of maintain itself. I wish I kind of knew the science behind it more, but it seemed to be that the tannins being nice and high in the tank is what allowed the Anubias to do fairly well in a brackish style tank. We had a brackish tank with a bunch of figure 8 puffers in it. They were actually the figure 8 puffers that eventually, as a wolf pack sort of thing, took down a lionfish, which was made one person really mad. So let's see here. My glass box that says my planet tank is now a joke and all the guppies are dying. Ooh, that is no fun, Gillett. Kevin Keener, the golden is nice. Also, a bit of contrast to Nana Petite as far as color. That is a great point, and I didn't even mention that at all. Let's see. I'm going to try to think which, off the top of my head, is the golden Anubias. I don't know. Maybe you got the answer for that. Maybe Kevin Keener's got the answer for that. But I do like the varying colors in the Anubias that are out now. What happened? You okay? Are you sneezing? Come on, bud. Come here. Up, up. Oh, Mr. Chips. Come on. Come here. Hey. Mr. Chips. Up, up. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes to Mr. Chips. This is Mr. Chips, guys. Oh, I gotta hold you up so you can say hi. Oh, Chips. He was over there coughing, making some weird noises. Wasn't sure what was going on with him there. But we were talking about the gold Anubias. So yeah, the varieties of Anubias that are coming out, there's actually some great colored ones out there now, but I can't remember them off the top of my head, and now I got a silly dog here dancing around. Maybe you got a link to throw up there. Emerald, but I'm a nooberson who noobs a lot. Too lazy to attach it to all the wood stuffs. You gotta attach it to the wood stuff. We talked about the Pinto. Have you ever had any of the white variants. Yes, actually, like I said, I have the white Pinto right now, which I'm trying to nurse right along here, and hopefully that we can get that going. If you ever had to do Glass Bosses Me Too, struggling with BBA. Nisi's funny. Yeah, Nisi is funny. Hey, everybody. Oh, Eve Daigel's here. What's up, my man? Canadian. I think Eve's a Canadian. He's a Quebecois, I think. Let's see. I want to see that little boosh. Oh, this is the little doggy. He likes to sit on my lap. The Bitty Brown. The Bitty Brown was a dog that is still here. Is a dog that's still here. She does not like to sit on my lap when I'm painting or in the office here. She flops flat down on the floor. But Mr. Chips, our new addition here, is a little buddy style. He'll come sit on my lap while I paint for hours. So it's cool to have like a little lap buddy with me. It's definitely a different thing. Let's see. Will Anubias grow if in sand substrate? I generally do not plant my Anubias into the substrate. You can. Just be sure not to bury the rhizome. Oh, crap. I'm going to go back to the video here because maybe I can show you guys if we can pause it at a certain point here. Let's get to... there's a point where I bring it up here. All right. There we go. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hold your horses. Right. Yeah. Okay. So this little bit that I am holding in my hand here, you can see the rhizome and my disgusting thumb. The rhizome is the part in between my disgusting thumb and my pointer finger, and then the little roots coming off of it. So if you really do feel like you have to plant this into the substrate, you can actually push the little root portions, but leave the rhizome above the substrate. The substrate is the dirt in the dirt area, essentially the ground area, the gravel, whatever you got in there. I would say that the sand substrate would probably stifle the roots on an Anubias, and I wouldn't necessarily do that personally. I would generally, if I had sand substrate in an aquarium like that, I would attach them to a small rock or something like that and actually just leave them a little bit. I would glue the small rock to the bottom of the rhizome there, and then just let it sit right on top. Let it sit right on top of the substrate. Yeah, Dank Tank saying my thumb is jacked. It's not jacked like how it used to be. It's not jacked like how it used to be. It used to be total chaos. But now I got like a 3/4 thumbs up. They get stuck in your intake all the time if they're floating. Eve Daigle, that's a great point. They do get stuck in your intake all the time if you have them just floating around your tank. If I was feeling like I wanted to float them around the tank or something to keep the algae off of them, like I said, I would just grow them emergent, instead of submerged down in my sump. That's generally what I would do. No, I get that wrong all the time. You're from Ontario, but live in Alberta, just happen to have French parents. Oh, okay. Well, I always screw it up, but I just like to say Quebec. I don't like to say Alberta. It's kind of boring. Alberta just sounds like Albert. It's like, hey, Albert. But I like to say Quebec. Quebec is fun to say. So sorry if I offended you. I don't mean to offend you, Eve, but I always get it wrong. So at least I'm consistently wrong. I'll try to do better, my man. Donnie Hill, all the help you've gave me, I can just have the 120. I just have to come get it. Well, that depends on where you're at, Donnie. I might actually just come over there and get it. Depends on where you're at, though. That just really just depends on where you're at. Where are you, man? Maybe I'll come get it. I don't know. You're probably super far away, which would be the problem. Gone Mad with the super chat 999. Right on. I dig that. I need help with a odd saltwater tank one day in the futures. Well, thanks for the super chat, and apparently I don't have to help you with anything right now, but yeah, I will definitely help you out in the future with your saltwater tank. Speaking of saltwater, I'm going to be doing some reef work tomorrow, and we'll be getting some of that reef stuff out to you. Hopefully that doesn't piss you guys off. Hopefully you have some good questions, even if you don't have a reef, that maybe you'll learn some stuff I hope to present it in that way and give you an opportunity to check out some reef stuff, and maybe you'll be interested in some reef stuff in the future. I know that most everybody here is a Planet Tank follower, which I understand, and I'm a huge Planet Tank guy too. But I also have my one reef tank. I always want to have a reef tank going on too, because I dig the ocean, man, and it's a great opportunity for me to always learn and pay attention and kind of focus on a little bit of the ocean stuff too, and not just constantly focusing on the freshwater stuff. So hopefully maybe it'll start your itch and get you an idea maybe to start a little reef nano tank, which I would recommend Brian Murphy for that. If you want to look up Brian Murphy's videos on YouTube, I would check them out. He is a Planet Tank guy that transitioned to doing little nano saltwater tanks also about 6 or 7 years ago, something like that. And he's got a lot of informative videos up there on his I think it started out as a 5-gallon, and then I think he upped it to a 10-gallon. So he's got a massive reef that's 10 gallons in size, and let me tell you, it might be a small tank, but it is powerful. It's a dope tank, and so I would check that guy out for the nano stuff. If you're only a freshwater person, he's got some great advice on how to move over from Planet Tanks and stuff. He's also the guy who started Aquascaping the World on Facebook. So if you've ever seen that Facebook group, that's the guy. That's Brian Murphy, a super cool dude out of Boston. He's a Boston boy. Hitchhiker's thumb. Yeah, I give my 3/4 thumbs up. Someday maybe I'll be back to having 2 thumbs, you guys. Maybe at some point in time I'll be able to give 2 thumbs up instead of 1 3/4, which will be great. Let's see. Donnie Hill used bread ties to wire some Anubias to a small piece of slate and buried the rock in substrate. Leaving the rhizome above the substrate works great. Yeah, just remember, if you're going to be putting Anubias into the substrate, just remember that to have that rhizome be above the substrate. Otherwise, you'll really end up with some problems. Let's see. Dank Tank saying, I've heard consistency is key. Yes, in almost everything, consistency is key. And consistently, Glass Boxes, a.k.a. Joel Gillett, is very consistently heading off to lunch right about this time every day. So that's going to be cool. Hey, FU2 saying, I need to learn more about the reef anyway. This hobby isn't costing enough. I fully understand that. One of the big issues with reefing is that it does get pretty darn expensive. It does add up, that is for sure. And most of us out there are of the mind that the last thing we want to do is make this super expensive for everybody. But that's one of those reasons I was saying, check out Brian Murphy. He did the nano tank. So you're talking about a 10-gallon tank, costs about $10. Just a little bit of rock. He's got a hang-on back filter, so he's got a great little setup on there that will give you some great ideas on maybe if you just want to do a small one. So that's what I would look into, and it definitely didn't cost him a ton of money, because I remember when he was setting it up, it was like, oh man, maybe I should have done a small reef, because that's pretty dope and it didn't cost a ton of money. So yeah, but as you guys know, I like to go big. I like to go big with all this nonsense. And nothing's really as cool as the saltwater shrimps. They are the kind of the coolest. Eve Diegel's asking, okay, my digital salinity tester came in. I only had the plastic hydrometer, so my level is 1.024. Should I bother adding salt to the tank to bring it up to 0.026? Yes. First, I would top off from the sump, or however your system's running. I would top off the tank, then bring it up to the salinity where it should be. Sorry, I keep having to drink water. My throat's like super dry today. I don't know why. But bring the salinity up to that. I run mine at 0.027 now, mainly because I'm setting up my system with a higher salinity in order to stop doing water changes. My goal is to get that tank fully running with a large refugium, which the refugium is kind of set up now with my reactors on it. And getting everything running, but I'm running a little higher salinity in order to kind of buffer my coral growth and stuff. So I'm running at 0.027 right now. But yeah, if you're at 0.024, you could have some slight issues here and there, but nothing really too bad. 0.024, you're not really going to cause some issues. You might just have a little bit of a swing here and there, but nothing really too out of control. So I would mix a little bit of water and a little salt to bring it up, and then just so instead of adding a little RODI water to top off every day, I can add just a little salted water that you mixed. Is that a better way? Yeah, that's essentially what you'd want to do. But like I was saying, what I would do is I would normally top off and then bring my salinity up a little bit once it's topped off. But that's just for me. But what you're saying there is adding a little bit of salted water. Yeah, that'll be fine. Realistically, that's dependent on the size of water changes or the size of your tank. It could get confusing math-wise if you know, like if you're like me and you've got about 200 gallons and your salinity is down by 1 point, then you're kind of trying to figure out, well, how much salt I should put in this water. And then you also do want to remember, when you're adding super salty water into the tank, you can burn critters that are in there. So you could like burn gill, you could get gill burn and stuff like that from super salty water. So that would be the downside by bringing your salt up that way. It's great for me to have a sump. That's one of the great things about having a sump for me, is that I'm able to take water in and out and add it in, and then just add salt from the sump. So that does work out a little bit easier for me. But hey guys, we're at the hour and 6 minute mark. So we're going to be wrapping this up for Tuesday. We have a lovely Tuesday out here, unless we get the extension. But Skoglund left. Skoglin's the guy who normally gives us the extension. Oh, I got all this dog hair on me now. Hold on. Chips, go over there and do something. Go in the dog bed. Get in your bed. Go lay down. Go lay down in your bed, bud. He doesn't know about laying down in his bed yet. He'll get there. I try to get the bed in the shot here, so if he goes over into the bed over there, then maybe we'll be able to see that. Oh, okay. Well, if you don't know the scientific name of the Anubias golden, all right, that's not going to be a big problem, because I will be able to find that out very soon. Anubias Barteri, variety Nana Gold. Oh yeah, so it's one of the Barteris, right? So it's one of the Barteris, and so it's not too far out there, but its newer leaves start out really bright and gold, and it's kind of a badass. It's a pretty badass plant, realistically. Definitely does bring some a little bit better coloration scheme to things out there, especially if they're offset against the really dark green tanks, the really dark green Anubias. But I'll try to get my hands on some of that, and we can talk about that at some point in time. So I have found my first salty channel. Wait, who's the first salty channel? Is it me? I don't know. What? Huh? I'm confused. Yeah. Okay. So as I was saying, that we'll start wrapping it up for today, unless somebody like Skoglund comes on and freaks out and says we got to stay on. We'll see. But I do want to mention all of our Patreonizers that are here. Our lovely Patreonizers are making this kind of possible to be able to do this 5 days a week. We're doing Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock. That's our schedule right now. I would like to expand the shows that we're making. I would like to do more shows, and I would like to do more produced shows and stuff like that. So that realistically comes down to, do we have a couple of bucks to go do it? So but the Patreonizers are the guys that are pushing to make that possible. So I want to give a thank you and a shout out to all those guys. At the top of the list, we've got the Aquarium Co-op. Old Corey. Corey from Aquarium Co-op at the $250 mark. Woo! I don't know who's going to top that. Maybe like Paul Allen or somebody's going to top that. Long Woo at the $20 mark. Steven Skoglund at the $20 mark. And down here at the $10 mark, we've got Joel Gillett, Jack Betts, Cichlid Bro, and M. Den Hollander. And M. Den Hollander still patronizing, aka Just Bob's, still patronizing, was the first to the patronizing crew. He's going to hold the title, you know. As long as he's still there, he's going to hold the title. Down here at the $5 a month club is Sashimi Whiskey, Pamela Early Wine, Kyle Wildewelt, Kevin Hayes, Gene Fensky, Jennifer Sarchicino, Matt Gilmet of international fame, Karen Casey Ellis, and then down here at the $1 mark, we've got both Matthews down here, the 3D Reefer, and then Matthew, who's just Matthew. All right, so special thanks to all those guys, and a big shout out to Eric Gone Mad with the super chat. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate it. I will be here to help you with your saltwater tank, depending on what the setup is. He also has my email, so hopefully he can email me some big question lead in, and then we can try to get prepped to answer your question. That's one thing that I would like to remind some people out there. Oh, I'm making the if I move around over here, that makes it move around in the video. Whoops. That's one thing I would like to mention to you guys. If you do message me, you can message me on Facebook. You could message me on YouTube. You can go to Dark Star Arts and find my email, and you can send in an email. And I can come on here and be a little bit prepared to answer your questions if that's something that's going on. Aquarium Cop showed up late, and I forgot to say hi. What's up, man? The cop. You know. All right. So hopefully everybody has a safe and happy Tuesday out there. Goes a little bit wild in the streets, but don't get too wild. And don't be lighting off fireworks like a jackass, because we'll send the Aquarium Cop over your way to hit you over the head with a billy club or something. And to those of you that hated yesterday's stream, I'm not really sure what it was about. It was probably because I was talking about farting in a jar. That was probably the big issue. We had a lot of dislikes yesterday, and I'm not sure what it was about. Or maybe it was just Monday and people were pissed. Who knows? But hopefully everybody out there has a fantastic Tuesday. Stay safe and do safe stuff, you know? All right. The fish friends, fish fam. All right. Later.